Flick off your jandals, crack a cold one from the chili bin, chuck on some cans, and enjoy a Kiwi take on all things Arsenal.
Happy Wednesday and welcome back to another episode or another live broadcast of our Arsenal New Zealand Weekly. Today I'm joined by Dylan, who's joining us from, snow-capped Queenstown. Is that right, Dylan?
Yeah, it's beautiful but freezing.
Beautiful but freezing, yeah.
Beautiful but freezing. You're going to have to practice your intros and think you're not supposed to have us flashing on the screen between the two cuts.
I clicked the button, but it didn't work, so I clicked it again. No, we're still getting used to the new system, but it's making us a bit more slick and a bit more running there. So yeah.
How are you, man? How are you?
Going well. Had a week down in Christchurch last week. We did our live stream with Cory from my hotel room. And
I was watching
Christchurch.
Yeah.
That was quite cool, but no, it's going well. Played football on the weekend. We won again, which was quite nice. But mate, how much better is a weekend when Arsenal not only win but actually like excite you, like when they're playing? How awesome is your weekend when that happens, eh?
I've never been so relaxed. I can't remember the last time I was able to just enjoy weekends. Like my wife loves it. She's seeing a whole different side of me. Yeah, it's great. Like there's teams playing well, other teams aren't doing so well, and we just get to sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's actually really refreshing. And I'm no way am I counting chickens or anything like that, but it's so nice to let's say be optimistic about what's happening. And compared to what happened at the start of last season and seeing what happened to us at the start of last season happening to someone else, it's quite nice being on the other side of the fence.
I was going to say, yeah, there's the aspect of being happy that we've started so well, but also that we can actually look at the other teams who aren't doing so well and think, well, we know what that's like, but it's so much better being on this side of it, being able to look down and laugh. And I think that got more talk this week than our result in our group chat. I think Cory was telling us to shut up about Manchester United because there's just so much back and forth about Manchester United. But it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's I've got a few United mates that I've made sure I've got stuck into because they definitely got stuck into me last year. So it's payback time, that's for sure.
And it's funny because it feels so similar to what we went through.
Yeah.
Like almost, everything that was wrong with the club last season and the last couple of years is what they're going through now. We can see exactly what's happened, but we've come out the other side, and I don't see how they can come out the other side in their current state. We at least last season when we had the 3 bad results, had a plan. They don't seem to have one, and it's great.
It's quite interesting that the two teams that I suppose have had 2 of the longest managers serving in football, who have kind of gone through a very similar, let's say, experience with interim managers, or I would say interim managers, but short-term managers in between, and now kind of going through that rebuild phase after being in the dumps and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite interesting to see the parallels of how the organizations, the teams are kind of been working over the last couple of years.
Although I should point out, we've had 1 rebuild.
No. I understand.
They're up to what, their 6th or 7th manager?
7 or whatever, yeah. But come on, the Emery situation was a rebuild too, right? Come on.
Well, yeah, but like we've had 1, restart of our rebuild where they've had much
they're
more,
on number 7 or something. Yeah.
We should probably talk about Arsenal, right?
Yeah, we should. Otherwise, Cory's going to jump on the chat and give us some stick. So, Yeah, we're going to talk about our Arsenal Leicester match, which was quite exciting. So first up, excuse my black background that obviously hasn't filled the screen there, but lineups. I mean, I think Arsenal were unchanged from the game
Let me
before.
fix that for you.
Yeah, what have you done to my screen there? Why'd you click
Fixed
that
it.
button? No. Here we go. Arsenal unchanged. Were you happy with the lineup?
Yeah, not much really to say about the lineup. Everyone you'd expect. Good to see the bench though filling out, which is I guess the only thing to really bring up is we'll see Tomiyasu come back, Tierney's back, although he was there last week, Smith Rowe. So our bench is looking much stronger than it did against Crystal Palace, which is good to see.
Well, my favourite thing about our bench is there's no Cedric on there, which is quite
There
nice.
is a Pepe.
There is a Pepe, but that's going to be short-lived if the rumours from this morning are out there.
You must have been thrilled this morning.
Yeah.
You must have woken up, thought it was a dream.
Funny enough, I've had like 4 people message me saying, "Are you happy yet?" I was like, "Yes, please, come on, hurry up, make it happen." Leicester's lineup. I mean, there's always the threat of James Vardy in it. We know he loves scoring against Arsenal, but was there anybody else in their team that was kind of you're worried about or you're keeping an eye on?
I mean, I wasn't worried about, but it was, I guess everyone was keeping an eye on how Tielemans performed, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's 2 ways I guess you can look at it as, he was really bad and really quiet, or Arsenal just, were too good. And, if you bring him into the team, it would be, you can't maybe judge him as much if he doesn't stand out in the Leicester team in one game against us when we've dominated the game.
Yeah.
But he really didn't set the world on fire. I mean, especially when you compare who he would be coming in to replace, who had an unbelievable game. That was kind of for anyone that was really wanting Tielemans in, I guess maybe a little bit disappointing. But no, there wasn't really anything in that team that really worried me. They've had a really weird start to the season, Leicester. There've been no signings. They've had a lot of people leave. So it's an interesting one with them.
It's an odd one, and I suppose there's not just Tielemans, but there's a bit of a cloud over a few of the other players, right? So was it Fofana and Maddison potentially on the way out as well? So probably a bit of a weird environment inside that Leicester dressing room as well. So I was quite interested to see how Fofana actually, I suppose, played and stood up. I believe the commentators were saying that he was a former teammate of Saliba.
They were together at Saint Etienne, I think.
Saint Etienne, yeah.
Yeah.
So to see the 2 players now match up against each other and then see how their performances differ after their respective, I suppose, career paths to get to where they are was going to be quite an interesting, I suppose, side note there to watch. The way I was going to do this is I was going to talk about our goals and their goals separately rather than in order. But I've only put 3 there, but I know we scored 4. Don't worry, I can count. I just put 1 photo for Gabby's 2 goals. His first goal, I mean, what a goal, eh? I know it took a slight defection, but to be able to, I suppose, spot that and perform that, I suppose, skill to lift it with no backlift. Pretty awesome.
Goal was pretty nice. Again, we're controlling the game, and then the nice ball over the top from Partey. And that's I guess what he brings to the team is he's all over the pitch. This one took him out to the left wing, and he was all over the place. And I think Fofana had a tough game because it was obviously Martinelli out there who had him on his yellow card quite early. And was being destroyed by Martinelli. And then when Jesus was coming out, and then obviously the finish was just we haven't had that for a while, have we? Just obviously we've had players that can score goals, but just the improvisation to do that, because really there was nothing. It was a quick second to get the ball out of his feet and then
deliver
the delivery. And I don't think you've got the picture there by the looks of it, but that picture I shared in the group where you had, I think it was Ndidi, Evans, and one other just looking at the ball, just going, "Oh shit, it's going in." And they couldn't do anything about it. It was great. But class goal.
And then his second one, which came not far after, was thanks Mr. Vardy for providing the assist, but Martinelli's corner goes to the near post with a bit of pace and whip on it. There's not much you can do as that near post guy. Is you either got to try and hit it clear or leave it alone. He's tried to hit it clear, skipped off the top of his head, and as we saw in preseason, Jesus pops up on that back post area and just nods it in unmarked. As you say, all over the pitch for Jesus, including back post on corners, left, right wing, all the way up front. Like his whole performance, straight after that goal, I think he could have had two more from that turn on Johnny Evans, and then the 1-on-1 which he could have squared to Saka across the box. Like his performances were electric, and as you say, I don't think we've had that level of performance since potentially maybe Alexis Sanchez when he first came in. I don't think there's been much else in that sort of improvisation and energy level.
No, I don't think there's been anyone like that since him. But with the goal from the corner, I mean, I think I don't know exactly how many, but since start of last season,
15.
Arsenal
15's the number.
Had the most goals from set pieces. Thanks for the assist there.
You're welcome.
But
I'll just do my good Mesut Ozil impression, and I'll give you the assist. It was 15. Yeah,
but that's I think 2 in 2 weeks as well, and you can tell there's. I don't think Martinelli took corners last year, did he? It was mostly Saka.
He took a few, but you're right. It was mostly Saka or Smith.
He's definitely improved it. Like how many times in the past, going back to the end of Wenger and things, like did we just bemoan our corners? And we had no one that could take corners. But every single delivery, not yesterday, on the weekend was pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
And put into a position where we could attack it. And the way we set up for corners these days, like that if it's put in the right spot, we're going to have a chance of scoring. It's good to see.
Going back to that, I suppose, end of the Wenger era, Emery era, where we couldn't get it past the first man on a corner, and it was almost like if we got a corner, we just gave the ball back to them.
It was like watching.
Just take the ball. We don't care.
It was like watching the A-League. It was.
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. Xhaka being the goal threat that he has always been. I think
he's always been that box-to-box midfielder, don't you?
Yeah. They were talking about it on the Arscast. How man, he's such a goal threat, and where has this been, etc. But I mean. I think his performances have changed because of the confidence that potentially Zinchenko, and we'll talk about Zinchenko a little bit later, but what he gives in the defense has actually given Xhaka way more freedom and way more confidence, I suppose. He's not having to sit as deep and be as defensively minded because we've got a solid defense, right?
Yeah, that's it. And he has got the freedom. He's got number 6 behind him who can protect the defense.
Yeah.
It has to be like the best comeback you've ever seen in a career. Like from going to captain, telling your fans to fuck off as you walk off the pitch, to being a couple of seasons later just being he's still here. We just can't get rid of him. And it just seems
to be honest, I wouldn't want to.
Well, no, you wouldn't want to, but like it seems like every season there's a talk of he's going to go this year. There was Roma, there was I think a team back in Germany a couple of years ago, and he just never leaves. And I'm not complaining because he's come been really well, played really well this year. But it's just one of those ones. Like ever since the start, there's always been that tension between him and the fans, and it seems to be in a really good spot at the moment.
Yeah. Can't say anymore. I've liked the fella even when he told the fans to bugger off, etc. I love his passion not only for the sport but for our club as well. So, I mean, he deserves the goal. He's played really well the last 2 games, and he's played quite attacking. And as
I mean, he should have had
said,
more than more than the one goal. I mean, the first one with Saka, which was a great cross as well, but that run to the back post.
The header that hit the edge outside of the post, right?
Like, he's got the smarts as well to be able to do that and get into the right position. So if he's being given the freedom to do that this year, he could pop up and get quite a few goals.
We'll need them, that's for sure. And it's nice to be able to see that goals are coming from all around the park and not being so reliant on 1 or 2 players, which we have been in the past, right? Martinelli obviously grabbed a goal at the end there. He did, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, just making sure I had the right player there. He worked his socks off.
Say next time. Just say Gabriel scored.
Gabriel, yeah.
You should be covered.
Yeah, man, he worked his socks off for the 2nd game in a row. I was talking to sidetrack is I've been picking my wife up from work this week, and I forced her to listen to the Ask Us Extra, and they were talking about Martinelli, and I paused it and I said, my personal thoughts is both Gabriel, Jesus, and Martinelli, obviously both being Brazilian, I think they might have had some sort of connection, chat, or whatever about building a solid partnership.
I thought you were going to say like a secret rendezvous.
Potentially, maybe, I don't know. But I think it's about, for them, not only performing for Arsenal and themselves, but making that connection for the World Cup later this year, and making their partnership something that has to be picked, if you know what I mean, because it's so dynamic and so strong, and they both have to be picked together. So I think Martinelli's performances, he's lifted heaps because Jesus come in, but they're also working really well together. And Alan's right, their language is a big key there, because they're obviously talking to each other in a different language or their own native tongue. But it's interesting to see that Martinelli's kicking on this year, where last year it was like Saka kicking on, if you know what I mean. So I'm quite enjoying his performance levels.
Yeah, I think the way it sort of is at the moment is quite promising and quite, going to be quite fun to watch. Is I guess those two in particular, because they're fighting maybe for a spot in the World Cup team, but right across the front three, they're all pushing to outscore each other. And you can probably include Nketiah in that as well when he comes on. They don't want to lose to the other one when it comes to scoring goals. It seems like there's a bit of a competition there, which
I think they're also pushing to help each other as well. They're helping each other score the goals as well, right?
I mean, that I guess comes into the way that we play the football. Some teams might rely on individual players. I can think of one or two.
We've been there before. Don't worry.
We're more of a team game, and Martinelli's gone to a whole nother level this year, and he's still only 19, isn't he, or 20 now? But for someone so young to be doing this in the Premier League so early in his career.
It's pretty awesome, though. It's pretty awesome.
We've stumbled onto something, yeah.
Second, I suppose, side of the goals. Obviously, we conceded 2.
Well, you're forgetting the penalty as well. That came first. The non-penalty.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think?
I actually didn't want to talk about it because I think Jamie Vardy's a bloody cheat for it, and the fact that Xhaka got booked last week for exactly the same thing, and Vardy got away with it, really annoys me. If we're
I don't think
gonna,
anyone's really talked about it, but yeah, like what's the go there? Because I thought like a couple of years ago when VAA came in, I thought yellows couldn't be given based on VAR. You know, if something happened, you could only give red. So maybe that's why he's not got it. But
I don't know, but whatever the situation is, Vardy's gone to the ground with a very minimal, if any, touch from Rambo, and
but what did you think in real time? Did you think it was a penalty when you first saw it, or did you have to go back
no,
and see the replay?
to be honest, I didn't, because I thought Ramsdale had pulled out, but I could see the ref giving it, if you know what I mean, from his angle and his judgment. I thought, fuck, here we go, here's another penalty. But the fact that they gave Xhaka the yellow card last week for exactly the same thing, but nothing this week, really annoys me, and that's where I suppose us as fans get quite frustrated on that point, and that was why, because I didn't want to rant like this on the bloody.
I mean, this is
on
what
the
it's
stream.
for. Like you've got this is what the stream's for. This is why you have a podcast, so you're right.
Yeah. No. It was annoying enough watching it, and then but I was glad that VAR was there and VAR actually worked. I know, I suppose I'm biased and I was wearing the badge and all that, but
I
it
can't
was good to
remember.
see VAR actually work properly from a, if you took it from a neutral perspective.
So
VAR
I couldn't
actually did
remember
its
what I
job.
thought. I couldn't remember what I thought. I can't remember what I thought when I originally saw it. But when they said, was it Mike Dean was on VAR?
Yeah, I was like,
I thought there's no way this is getting overturned. So I was surprised it got overturned based on that. Like when you saw it, yeah, it was. I guess it also comes back to, you know, they're all going on about in the commentary how this year the refs are saying they're going to let stuff go more and let things be more physical. And if you're going to do that, then you can't give a penalty for what is essentially like it was maybe a slight rush.
He breathed on him,
and you know, he got out of the way mostly by the time Vardy got there. So
yeah,
it's maybe one of those ones where, you know, Vardy knew what he was doing, and or he was
Vardy
expecting he was expecting the contact,
and it didn't come, but he was already halfway down to the ground, right?
But I mean, there's been so many already this weekend where you just think, you know, what were they thinking? Like the Chelsea one with the hair pull.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was Anthony Taylor. They've got 140, 150,000 people signed a petition to not allow him to coach ref Chelsea games anymore. But like, yeah, like some of the VR still a bit, and the refereeing decisions are still a bit inconsistent or weird. Or, yeah, like, yeah, it may not be in the rule book, but pulling someone's hair is maybe can be considered. I don't know about you, but I would think that would be dangerous conduct. Yeah, you don't need to write in the rule book hair pulling.
Yeah,
I think that would just come under dangerous contact. But
we're on an Arsenal podcast, not a Mike Dean podcast here, or a referee podcast there. So, but I agree with you.
Complaining about referees, yeah, what we're famous for at Arsenal, isn't it?
Well, maybe that's a whole nother episode just by itself. Let's quickly talk about Saliba's own goal. I could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to head the ball clear. I think he thought he was under pressure, but he wasn't really. Hitting's probably not his strong suit because he's probably not had to deal with much of that over in the French league, but something he's definitely got to work on. Maybe a bit of miscommunication, but everyone said it, so we might as well say it as well. It was awesome to see the team rally around him and the bounce back from that, right?
Well, I was going to say it's probably the highlight of the game for me. Not the own goal, but the reaction after. The fans, pretty much every touch was a standing ovation for the rest of the game. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but towards the end, he made a tackle over near the touchline on the far side, and everyone in the stadium just was on their feet. And we're not known for being the most supportive to players when they make mistakes, but I guess when there's so much positivity and it helps when you're
Yeah.
winning the game. It didn't feel like, I don't know about you, but I never felt in trouble when they conceded the own goal.
It was unfortunate, but we had the majority of the run of the game, majority of the chances. You could feel that there was probably a couple more goals in it for us as well. But yeah, like you, I was over the moon with not just the players' reactions, but the reaction of the crowd, etc. And then to go up the other end and bang a goal in a minute and a half later, I think would have taken a lot of pressure off Saliba as well, knowing that the 2-goal cushion had been restored, etc. And his mistake had kind of been, let's say, fixed almost, if you know what I mean. I think that would have helped a lot. But you're right, the crowd this season and towards the end of last season has been completely different to what we've ever kind of expected or had at Arsenal.
And I don't know if you saw it.
In the
I did
Emirates
like,
era. I'll just add in the Emirates era.
I did like. Did you see that? There's, I guess you'd call them ultras. The
Yeah,
group
they
in
do
the black
the
shirts
Ponzin, don't
in the clock
Yeah.
end. No,
Yeah.
just like Palace. I guess like any football team outside of England. But yeah, just in I think the clock ends beside the away support, there was an actual group like together. I guess you'd call it choreographed, but all together, actually similar to Palace, where they had flags and leading chants and everything. Like just adding a bit of atmosphere.
It's
and I know they
cool,
talk about like adding safe standing as well. With the way the team's going, the crowd's a lot younger now, and there's so much positivity. If they add safe standing in as well, it could be a very fun stadium to go watch football in. Not much of a library anymore.
Yeah, we had a couple from the Arsenal New Zealand fan club over at the match on the weekend, and I can imagine the atmosphere was quite good for this match. So, look, I said quickly, and we spent 5 minutes on that one. So, Madison scored a goal towards the end of the match. Again, I think we scored a minute and a half after he scored, but quite a good finish from him. Ramsdale probably could have done slightly better, but I mean, you can't take the finish away. He had it hard and low, and probably the only place on the goal that he could have scored, right down the middle between Ramsdale's legs. But he probably should have been shut down before that. But again, the team response to go up the other end within a minute and a half and not just threaten, but have a shot on goal and actually finish, I think was really good.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see that a little bit this year on our left side. Like Zinchenko is not the best defensively, and he got caught out a bit. And like there was not really any cover. Someone probably should have come back and helped or tracked the Madison run because he came from quite deep with that overlap. And whether it was Xhaka or Martinelli, just no one went with him. And that was unfortunate. But the response for both goals to score within a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Again, shows progress. Previous
Positive
years we crumble.
Yeah. I did this quickly with Cory last week, where I pulled out a few players that I thought had quite good performances. Odegaard, I think he's relishing having the captain's armband, and I think the team are playing to his strengths as well as a player. I love seeing him interchange with the front three in terms of who initiates that high press. And if you notice that as soon as one of them initiates the press, the rest of them all kind of jump on and follow that press, which is really cool. We've talked about Martinelli and his performances. He's been electric this season, and God, my fingers, toes, eyes, balls, everything else is crossed that he stays injury free and it keeps going.
I guess that's one way to stop having kids is just
cross the balls. Zinchenko, probably an understated sort of impact that he's had on our team, but we did mention briefly about his ability and his strength at the back and confidence that he's given to everybody else to push forward a bit more, which is allowing that high press and that attacking side of the game. I think he's been an awesome signing. Interesting to see how him and KT fight for that position, or when each one is used against different oppositions, because we have seen Zinchenko kind of almost play as a defensive midfielder almost to allow the midfield to kind of push forward, haven't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone talks about the way Arteta is playing with the, I guess you'd say 2-3-5.
Yeah.
And there was a picture which clearly showed that the other day where it was like, and they're all playing inside our half as well, which is good. Like, the two centre backs. Then there was the Partey, Zinchenko, and White, and then the five across the front. We still need to get a bit better at controlling the games, which, again, might mean that we concede goals, especially down Zinchenko's side, because defensively he's not as solid as Kieran Tierney. But I think Kieran Tierney will definitely get his games, especially against some of the bigger teams where we may need defensively
shape, structure, etc.
Plus it's competition, right? It's competition.
He's returning from a few injuries last season and a bit of off time. So Zinchenko, the awesome thing is that the signing of Zinchenko is allowing Tierney to recover properly and ease back into the games rather than being rushed back in, if you know what I mean, because we've got a big hole on the side. So that's an awesome factor. We've talked about Xhaka and his performances and where he's kind of changed to, but the man in the middle there, we don't generally talk about him unless it's a negative thing. But I was on the Arteta out wagon at the start of last year. I've got to give
some of the things you were saying about him in the private chat should not see the light of day. It's just
they will not. Don't worry. But no. We've got to give him props, right? He's not only transformed the team and the performances on the field, but he's brought all of us supporters along that journey and changed the whole atmosphere and love for the club, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who wasn't an Arteta outer.
I've got recordings. Don't worry.
No, I'm pretty sure I was always just give it time. No, I mean, it's I was thinking about this the other day when with the Manchester United stuff, Ten Hag might have a bit of a record at Ajax and maybe a bit more established, but
hang on.
You've got to understand.
Go back to that pronunciation. What did you just call them?
Ten Hag?
No,
I said Ten Hag.
No, the team you mentioned.
Manchester United.
No.
Ajax.
No, you didn't say that. You said Ajax.
Did I?
Yes, you did. Yep. Come on, pronounce it properly. Ajax.
But you need to
bloody Australians.
You need to know the league and know the club, which is going in Arteta's advantage. Like, he clearly knows the club. He was captain after all, and he knows the league because he's been here for so long.
We also forget that Arsenal was his first managerial job, right, by himself. He's obviously sat underneath Pep for a little while, but this is his first job as a manager.
And I can't wait for the coverage of the Pep versus Arteta title challenge this season. I think it's already started on social media.
I think you're jumping the gun there.
I didn't say it. I'm just saying,
you just did.
Other people on social media are bringing it up already.
So, questions. Have you got any questions you want to chuck out there?
So I've seen today Rob Holding possibly to Villa. Sell or not?
Sell or loan?
Or keep?
Sorry,
no. It's a.
Is the rumor sell?
Sell, yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably a good option for both Holding and Arsenal.
I would say, yeah, if we get good money, like we should. This is one that I've people and podcasts I've listened to, early in the transfer window were saying if there's going to be a surprise transfer that pops up towards the end, that might generate some money for us, it would probably be Holding, because he's got a decent contract. He's not on huge wages. No one's looking to get rid of him, and he's probably content as well. But yeah, if a team does come in who needs, and I think Villa's got some injuries, that's why they need someone. If they come in, they've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
We're in no position where we don't need to sell.
It's the end of the transfer window soonish as well, right? So they're going to be desperate for it, but which we've been in that situation in the past. But I think Holding needs game time. He's coming. What do you say? How old is Holding? Is he going towards the end 26. Of his career? Yeah, so 26. He needs to be playing.
Not even close to the end of career.
No, but he needs to be. He's in the prime of his career, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Like he's one of those ones where he feels like he's been around forever, and he should be about to retire.
I thought he was about 42, but yeah.
Well, with his hairline before, it probably.
Yeah, he needs to take the defensive Gabriel stance and just shave it all off and rock from there. There was obviously the rumor of Pepe going out on loan.
I'm going to assume you're a keep person. You want to keep him?
No. You. What about you?
If it means we're bringing someone in that will actually play, because if he stays, I don't see him getting much game time. So if it means we're getting someone in, which I've heard the rumors today and the last couple of days was Hudson-Odoi from Chelsea. I couldn't tell you anything about him. Like I've obviously seen him a couple of times, but I don't follow.
He's got
his
potential.
Career.
He's got potential.
He's still quite young.
He's still quite young. Yeah. I'd be happy with that trade. Definitely.
What do you make of talking?
At least
about
it's
Chelsea?
an option, right? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Chelsea? What do you make of Aubameyang going potentially for like 20 million from Barca to Chelsea?
Good luck, Chelsea.
I mean, does that say anything about the club that we had to give him away for free, and then 6 months later they're getting 20 million for him, or is that just Chelsea being stupid?
That's just Chelsea being stupid if it does happen. But I don't know if Aubameyang is the right player that Chelsea need, and not we're talking on a bloody Chelsea podcast now. But Aubameyang only scores really inside the 6-yard box. I don't think Chelsea need that sort of player. I think they
need a striker though. They don't have anyone, but I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Look, if he comes back, he comes back. He's probably going to score against us, whatever. But we made the right decision for our club at that time, which was to offload him however we could and get his wages off our books. And that has enabled us to bring in Gabriel Jesus, which is probably the best thing that's happened to our club in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So I don't care what Aubameyang does going forward. It's up to him and up to Barcelona. They own him now. So if they get 20 million for him, whatever. We've done the best thing for our club, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree there. What about you? What do you got in your head of yours?
Is there any part of the pitch you think we need to strengthen or change or do anything different in?
We only really need cover. That's all we need now. There's nothing I would, at this moment in time, say we need to, buy to replace in the starting 11. We just need to fill out the bench and cover for the games we're going to be playing, right? Partey is an injury away from us having nobody except for Elneny. Ramsdale's an injury away from us having to rely on, I guess it's a bit unfair to judge him so far, but on Turner. Saka's an injury away from Nelson or Pepe having to play. I think Smith Rowe maybe, but he's also, struggling with injuries. So a lot, I guess, will depend on what happens when Vieira comes in and where he plays and, how quickly he adapts. But it's all about, I guess, filling the squad out now. there's no major holes in the 11, but in the 23-man squad, there's still gaps.
My main concern is the pointy end of the field. We talked about this last week with Cory, but it's what happens if Jesus isn't there? Is Nketiah enough? Does Nketiah have the drive, the skill, etc.? I mean, we haven't seen him much this season because of Jesus has played pretty much all the games, but I don't know personally if Nketiah's at the same level or near the same level, and I'm worried about that. But then saying that, we've got the likes of Martinelli who can push on up, and maybe Hudson-Odoi or someone else, whoever's potentially coming in for that Pepe replacement, could kind of push that forward, which I suppose is backup. But I'm not sure Nketiah is the backup striker we need. Like previously, we've had a different option. Like we've had a Giroud, who's a different attacking style and a different option. And I don't think we have that option. We're playing one way.
Well, we're not going to know until we see him. But I mean, it's a tough one though. Like who do you get? Who's going to accept coming in as probably third choice?
Yeah.
Well, not even number 2.
Yeah. I would just like a different option, right? Like we've got, even if you look at the style of Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, and Nketiah, they're very similar in terms of how they play.
I'm sure Giroud's still kicking around somewhere in Milan. We could probably put a sneaky one.
Also,
I didn't almost kill you there, did I?
No. We need, I suppose, his style and his poise and his beauty as well. That would be really nice. But what have we got here, Jason? The club needed Obregon. Yep, we've mentioned that. We managed to get Jesus, was the single best thing in this club. Yeah, probably since Ozil. Yeah, Ozil, Sanchez, that sort of stuff. I think Jesus has definitely been one of the best, if not the best, since then for us. That's for sure. Looking ahead, next match is on Sunday, 4:30 a.m. in New Zealand versus Bournemouth. I pulled out some stats here that I found. Bournemouth have only won one of their 10 Premier League games against Arsenal, and that was back in 2018. Arsenal have won 9 of their 12 matches against Bournemouth in all competitions, which is pretty cool. Bournemouth are unbeaten in 11 home league matches, which is, I suppose, going to give us a bit of a test. Arsenal are looking to win their first 3 Premier League matches in a campaign for the first time since 2004-05, which is pretty awesome considering last season we set the record, or I think we rewrote the record, didn't we, for the worst start. So the fact that we're potentially going down that route is quite cool. And the last one that I've got there is we've named the same starting 11 for both our matches. The last time we did that was when we won the title in 03-04. So Matt, do you think we're going to have the same starting 11?
Yeah, I don't see anything changing. I do think, looking at how much work you've put into this spreadsheet,
it's a PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.
Sorry, your poor wife. I mean, surely you got to spend time with your family. You got to have an intervention. How much time are you spending on all this, mate?
She took my son out to do a driving lesson tonight. He got his license on the weekend, which was quite cool as a family.
Is that what I kept seeing in the news? All those car accidents?
Yeah, all those car accidents. Yeah. No, he went out for a driving lesson. He's got to do an hour of driving a week, which meant I was able to do this while I cooked dinner. So anyway, do you think we're going to have the same sort of starting 11?
Yeah. I don't see any changes. I mean, I think the only ones that you would think about making are still probably too early, coming back from injury. So Tomiyasu, Tierney, all that, you'd like to think that we can give them some game time when it's comfortably in the bag. If it's
Yeah.
if it gets to that, so I don't think we're in any need of any changes. I mean, Arteta, we saw last year, liked as much as possible to keep the same 11 if he could. And yeah, this early in the season with things going so well, I don't see any changes needed.
Yeah, I believe Bournemouth played 2-1-1, lost 1, if my memory serves me correct. So
yeah, I mean it'll be interesting game. I mean,
yeah,
it'll be a tough game. Like, I mean, it's Premier League, so everything's tough. But they were good against Villa in the opening game, and yeah, it's at home, so yeah, it's always for them anyway. It's away for us, so it's always going to be tough. But this is the sort of games where, this is what we've brought in: Jesus and Zinchenko and Jesus. And all these players to be able to play around the box and through the lines when they're sitting behind us, when they're sitting back. So
Siri on my phone just went off because I said Jesus twice. I don't know what was going on there, but pretty cool. 100%. Bournemouth, I'm just looking at their record. I know it's only 2 matches, and yes, you can slate me on it if you want, but they've scored 2 goals and conceded 4 in 2 matches, which is I suppose it looks like there might be a little bit of a struggle up front, but our attacking intent over the last 2 games, I think we should be able to hopefully break through their defense a bit more and push on, which will be quite cool. I'm looking forward to it. Have you got a prediction? Are you gonna?
Well, I wasn't here last week, but I just want to point out. I know you may not be keeping track because you're terrible at predictions, but I got the first one right, 2-0 at Palace. So just want to put that out there.
Okay.
I didn't get to do one last week, but I'm going to go 3-0 to the Arsenal.
To the Arsenal, okay. So 0-3.
Yes, if you want to be like that, yeah.
I reckon we're going to go 4-1 to the Arsenal, or 1-4 if you want to be like that. I reckon we're going to have another good attacking game, and there's going to be a goal down out there or whatever. But I reckon we're going to have a good attacking game, and Jesus is going to get another 2, so which will be quite cool. I know you love talking about it. Off you go.
Not talking about it. Although I want to say, where are you?
Look, where are you? At least in the 2 weeks I've been in the top 10, you have not.
Mate, it's a long game. It's a long season.
It's a long game, yeah, but you have not been in the top 10 yet.
You don't have to start on top. You just have to finish. I'm going for the spoon. If I'm honest, I'm going for the spoon. I've already ended my season. Yeah, I'm going to go down to Kmart or something and buy a spoon.
A spoon. Jason, wait, hold on a minute. Jason Potter, who's on our stream at the moment, who's chatting away to us, sitting in 7th. Shamak, my bishop, not doing too bad, Jason. Well done. We'll give you a good shout out.
That's the only reason why he turned up.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's not listening. Jason. He's not watching to listen to us. He knew this was coming.
Yeah. But Dean Paul at the top there. I mean, he's got quite a good lead, eh? 6-point lead after 2 matches. Can he hold on? Maybe. But it's quite tight there. And again, we can't really say much until after maybe 10 matches or so, right? Same as that's why I haven't put the Premier League table up on our beautiful presentation that you love so much, because 2 games in, what's the point?
I was pretty impressed with myself, actually. I've managed to make an automated table in Excel for the purposes of Fantasy League. Wow. I don't know what I'm doing in Excel, but I've managed to create it where all I have to do is put the numbers in for each week and it automatically updates for me. It's like magic.
It's not bad. Not bad from I suppose, can I call you an Aussie?
Oh, come on, I've been here almost 10 years.
So a fake Kiwi, a fake Aussie. Which one do you want to? Which one do you want to go?
Depends on which country I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nah.
Depends who I'm talking to. Yeah.
Obviously you've got some prizes up for grabs for the fantasy league. So those who are playing, keep your eye out and keep working on it, because there's some cool stuff up for grabs there, which is cool. But lastly, yeah, man, just want to say thanks very much for your time. For those who joined in and had a chat with us, Jason, Alan, Ian, etc. Thanks very much for listening. And hopefully we get a good result, eh?
Is that it?
That's it, man. That's easy. How cool.
I can come back every week. That's not that hard.
Yeah. Thanks very much for joining me, Dylan. And for those who listened on the stream or on the delayed podcast, thanks very much. And come on the Arsenal.
And haha, Man United.
Haha, Man United.
Flick off your jandals, crack a cold one from the chili bin, chuck on some cans, and enjoy a Kiwi take on all things Arsenal.